Well, hello and welcome to the Bottom Line Me podcast. Today we're kicking things off with a little football talk. Now, if you're scratching your head and wondering what does football have to do with the title insurance or real estate industry, believe it or not, the football field and the real estate and title industry field, particularly in sales, have more in common than you might think. I'm your host, Ann Allard, and my guest today is Kale Gelles. Kale is a seasoned sales manager with a lot of experience in sales and prospecting strategies, and he's a die-hard Dallas Cowboy fan. Now,
Fortunately, yeah.
I, on the other hand am a lifelong New England Patriots fan, unfortunately as well. Um, and it's funny when Kale and I were putting this podcast idea together, we realized that we had more in common than just a love of football. I happen to have a nephew who was recently hired by the Dallas Cowboys as an offensive line coach. So while I can't really root for your team, I can't really wish them wish them disaster either.
You can wear some Cowboys gear on the bye weeks, right? That's all I'm around.
There you go.
Oh,
Oh, yeah, there you go.
mhm.
Yeah. So, yeah. So, as I said, you may be thinking, what does football have to do with real estate? And Kale and I think actually a lot. Both requires a lot of planning, adaptability, and certainly grit. Just like scouts identify top talent for drafts, the sales pros need to learn to research and qualify leads before they make their move. So, whether you're on the field or you're in business, I think it's all about execution and adjusting when you need to, and certainly resilience. That's the name of the game. So, Kale, welcome. So happy to have you join me today for this conversation.
Thank you, and I'm excited to be here. I know we've been going back and forth on some dates. I'm glad we finally made this happen. So I appreciate you having me, and I'm excited to get going and get talking a little bit. So
Well,
uh,
it was worth the wait to have you.
I know, right? And yeah, I do apologize for being a Cowboys fan,
Well,
but
that no apology necessary. So, well,
yeah,
other than a Cowboys fan, before we get a little tactical, tell us a little bit about yourself and your role at Old
absolutely,
Republic Title.
absolutely. So Kale Gelles. I just hit my 7-year mark with Old Republic. It's been an awesome 7 years, and I've been in majority of the 7 years. I've been an agency rep in Texas, and I just recently started in January. Started to work in the Central Title Division, all 20, I guess 26 states, as a sales specialist, working with all the different sales teams, come up with different strategies, and we're super excited, kind of just getting that off the ground, and really excited to build a community across all the different sales managers and state managers and figure out what's going on in different markets. And we're really looking forward to that. So that's my current role. But my past role, I mean, I'm still heavily involved in Texas, and I still uh, deal with the Texas reps, Texas agencies, uh, awesome folks, and I enjoy working with all of them. And uh, it's been a blast, kind of starting this new role and understanding the different states, and that's what I've been excited about is
Right.
just dabbling in the different states has been very eye opening to me. So
Learning new teams. Well, I have no doubt that you'll be great at it and that you'll be
thank you.
extremely successful. So, thanks. Thanks for sharing that a little bit about yourself. So, I think a good place to start is with some fundamentals.
Mhm.
I guess in football, scouting is really everything. Teams spend months evaluating players before the draft. So, in sales, I think prospecting is our version of that. So,
It, it is. I think you're right. Fundamentals and scouting is. I mean, when a NFL scout's going to recruit somebody, they're actively researching. They're looking at their backgrounds. They're uh, Googling them, see if they have any issues. And I think that has to go a lot into your prospect. I mean, you have to take the time and sit up and time blocking from whenever I was actively prospecting. You have to set time aside. You can't just say, "Hey, I'll get to prospecting whenever my schedule allows." If you're putting out fires all day, it's, "Oh, I'll get to prospecting and doing my research here at the end of the day." If you do that, you'll never get around. I think if you actively set time on your calendar, if that's an hour a day, if that's 4 hours on a Friday or Monday, whatever that might be, whatever works best for you, I think it's very important to set that time aside to do that. and don't let anything else kind of come into that time block for you. Um,
Ex
but actively researching, I think, is one of the biggest things, and understanding um, the marketplace. I mean, you reps in your marketplace, you know when new agents come into the marketplace, or someone might leave and go to another market or another agency. And I think communicating with those peers of yours is one of the best prospecting tools you have. Asking your loyal agents, hey, who are the new good big players in the marketplace? They'll tell you if they're open to you, and I think that takes trust, and it takes account. Like it builds the trust with your existing agencies that can like, open the door to new prospects. Uh, but research is the biggest thing. It's diving into it. This Google and internet is a scary thing, especially with AI. Uh, blowing up, and it's one of those things, but it's a thing that prospecting, anybody needs to use that tool, because they'll pull up the new people in the marketplace, and how you go about that, finding out prior to your initial reach out. Um, it's about your peers, and it's about people around you talking in the marketplace.
Yeah, well, and I think even with the technology and new ways for us to do that research and identify and qualify prospects, the basics are still the same. As you said, you've got to set the time aside, you've got to do your homework, you've got to ask the right questions, all of those things. So,
Mhm.
you know, what are some common missteps that you see in prospecting, and how can somebody, kind of course correct?
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the biggest mistakes I see is I feel like people always want to take everybody in. They're like, oh, that I want to get every agent you can get, and just blowing down the road, shooting out of your hip. And I think that that's one mistake that I have done in the past, where I'm like, I want to go get this, sign this agent no matter what. And it's a lot more to it. I mean, we got to qualify them for them to be a good OR agent, with them to be a obviously a good remitting agent, someone to be loyal to us, uh, things like that.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah. To go back to our football comparison, we know that coaches rely on game footage to go about refining their strategy. So, what kind of data or past interactions can a salesperson rely on to adjust their approach when they're reaching out to a new prospect? Any thoughts on that?
Absolutely. I mean, I know every state's different when it comes to data that's kind of pushed out there. Um, and I know for the most part, you can tell who has the majority of the market share in a particular area. And there's some state insurance websites that like put the past year's premium. At least that's how it was in the Southwest, where they'll have an agent, how much premium they wrote on XYZ underwriter all the way down. Um, so whenever you're doing that prospecting approach, and I've always referred back to that to see, if it does make sense to reach out to somebody that has 5 underwriters and only remits 5,000 a month. Does that make
Sure.
sense? Probably
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
So
And the
I
Big
think the
10.
data that
Yeah.
pushed that. Yeah, yeah. And I think each state's different. I know how they pull the data or when the data gets pushed off, but you definitely got to rely on logically thinking. Does it make sense to reach out to a prospect whenever a prospect has that many underwriters? Uh, but-
Good informations. Um,
Mhm.
you know, so now that we've talked a little bit about fundamentals, I think let's move on to the next logical step, which I think is building relationships, earning trust. In football, the quarterback and the receiver need to develop that trust or that chemistry. Um, and it doesn't happen overnight. What advice
Absolutely.
would you give to somebody that's trying to build rapport with a potential client, particularly during those early conversations when they're trying to get to know each other?
Absolutely. I think building the trust and finding that common ground with that process. Obviously, it's getting that initial meeting is probably one of the hardest things. But once you do get that, how do you build that trust throughout the whole report? And Steve Mercer, that runs the Southwest for agency, is always, I don't know where he got this quote, but treat your customers like prospects and your prospects like customers. And that's and I don't know where he got that, so I'm quoting Steve, but he might have got it from somebody else.
Shout out to
Right.
Steve for sure.
Right. Steve. But it's one thing that whenever you are prospecting an agent, treat them like a customer. I mean, because whenever you're building that rapport, you're finding where their needs are as a whole. I mean, there might be something, one of our tools. I mean, we have thousands of tools. We have thousands of different things, but and that's not the goal when you're prospecting, is to go pitch every tool you have. And I think we all know that. It's about understanding and meeting them where they need to be. Um, and I have an example of an agent that I was calling on for 2 years. Uh, Built a good relationship with him. It was one of those deals where it was consistency. It was about going in and trying to find time to meet with him all the time. He very much respected that. And then conversation got brought up about workflow and things like that. And we kind of decided as a team to provide them with a business process analysis uh, without even being a customer. And that's something that we only do for customers for the most part. We took the
Mhm.
time out of our day to go spend a whole day with them, kind of go over their workflow, which Brendan Nelson does phenomenal at. And and we won him over just because of that. Just by he was like, you really take the time out of your day to come put this effort in
Wow.
and make my business better, even though you're not an agent of mine. I said, absolutely. We want the best for you. And he saw that loyalty.
Yeah, that really
It's in
speaks to, I think, the fact that not every prospect or lead is going to be ready to convert right away. And that was an incredible strategy. Any other ideas on how, or that you share with your sales team on how can they stay top of mind with a prospect who might still be on the fence? What kind of things can you do?
absolutely. I think I recently for loan applications, for instance, say if I had to get a new home, these lenders are calling you nonstop. I mean, it's kind of almost to the point of being annoying. No one wants to be.
Lose my number.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I'm not trying to say that it's a completely different sell than what we're doing, but um, I think one thing being persistent, being on top of mind, but not being too needy and too.
Yeah, it's a balance.
But it's a balance, and I think
Mhm.
one of the conversations that I've had with people, obviously, loyalty is one of the best things any prospect. That loyalty is one thing that I acknowledge. Like, man, I'm loyal to XYZ underwriter. I said that's awesome. I love that you're doing. Like loyalty is one of the best things ever, and it's about meeting them where they need. And if you find that out, and they say, "Hey, can I reach back out in 2 months,
Mhm.
3 months, whatever that might be?"
Yeah.
Get that time. I mean, give them that space, and that's completely okay. And I think, I mean, some agents take 6 months to sign. Some take agents takes 2 years to sign. Uh, and it's always about understanding. Hey, can I reach back out, and having them commit and allowing you to reach back out whenever that time comes. So
Well, I think that's so interesting, and it's so true that there's that balance is so important. Um, but I think the objections oftentimes that we have to overcome. Like football players don't quit after they have a tough loss, as we both know. They regroup and they adjust. So how would you suggest somebody, and it doesn't even have to be, we have our audience is broad. We have realtors, lenders, other people
Mhm.
that are in the industry, that are always struggling, I think, with sales
Mhm.
strategies. Um, how do you handle rejection, or prospects who just initially say, "No, I'm set. I'm happy where I am." What kind of things can you share that could
I
help with
mean,
that?
I think I've always kind of lived my life. I'm confident in the way I approach things, and I've been turned down before in my life, and it's in a good way. I think getting turned
Yeah.
down, and I think confidence in how you bounce back, and no offense to any of the agencies or anything like that, but if I get turned down by a business owner, it hurts a lot more than my wife gets mad at me for not taking out the trash. I'll say that much right now. I mean, so what I'm saying is, it these agency, these business owners that are pushing back, that's their business, and you don't can't take anything personal. If you take things personal in this career, in this job, especially in sales, you'll just be beat up, beat down. And I think confidence, looking yourself in the mirror, saying, "Hey, that's just one person." I mean, people get their feelings hurt. So I've been having my feelings hurt, but it's about, hey, looking yourself in the eye, how do you bounce back? And me, football, great example. I mean, getting knocked down, getting hurt, getting your tail whipped on a consistent on a whole game. That person has your number. What are you going to do? You going to quit for football for the rest of the season? No, you're going to get back up.
You gotta call an audible, right?
Yeah, you got to call it on. You got to figure it out. So I think that's the biggest thing is for me is first off, who cares what if people turns you down? No one's going to hurt people hurt my feelings, but it's not gonna rub me the wrong way, and I'm still go to work, and I'm still wake up for my family and keep them moving down the road. So I think that's how I've
Exactly.
approached
Yeah.
get turned down. when
Yeah.
it comes to prospecting.
Yeah, we have to wear a helmet sometimes, there's no question about it,
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
protective gear, exactly, but let's talk about how we have to pivot sometimes, just like in
Mhm.
football, the quarterback might have to call an audible. Sometimes, things come up or objections change and we have to shift quickly. What do you have to say about how do you go about shifting, or what kinds of things would you suggest somebody does when immediately when they might get a little blindsided even and have
Yeah.
to shift a little bit?
I think it's a team effort, as you know. I mean, shifting and audible, and I think if an agency does come to you and throws a big curveball at you, I mean, don't freak out. I mean, we got a team behind us that has the most experience. I mean, I've been in the industry for 7 years, 4 years of college, but um, you have a team behind you. You don't need to freak out. Regroup, audible, take that time out, figure out as a team how can you approach it. And I think that's the biggest thing. How I've always utilized it. If you have
Little huddle now and then is a
little
good
huddle,
thing. Yeah.
there's nothing wrong
Yeah.
with that. Like take a
Yeah.
break, and it's okay, in my opinion, to tell that person and prospect, hey, let me regroup. I don't let me get back to you on that comment. And I think that's
That
completely
is
okay. You don't
That's a
need to shoot up
great
the edge.
suggestion.
You don't need to delay your response if it is email for a week, whatever it might be. Respond to them, answer that phone call, whatever it might be. Say, hey, let me get back to you on this because I need to put a little more thought into it. No one needs to shoot off the side of their hip to try to appease an objection.
Well, and sometimes we feel like we have to come up with an answer, but the best answer might be, "Let me give this some thought and get back to you." That's a
Absolutely.
great advice. Great
Mhm.
advice. Yeah. All right, so let's talk about crunch time. Do you have a 2-minute drill strategy when you only have a short window to make an impression?
Absolutely. I mean, I think it's about being kind to people. I mean, you got to make a first impression. You got to figure out where their pain point is. Uh, but this everybody, this isn't about title policy. I mean, obviously, our goal is to get title policy. That's our number one goal. But it's about building relationships, finding the inner person within behind that title policy. Because people, um, another quote that I've heard from Mr. Mercer, which I'm quoting Mr. Mercer every once in a while, but they don't
Yeah.
care how much you know until they know how much you care.
What you Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I don't know where he got that quote either, but
Yeah.
he told me that, and I think it's the truth, and it's one of those deals where,
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
you
Without a
really gotta
doubt.
care about care about them, care about their business, because in the at the end of the day, that's their business. How can you
Yeah.
show you care about their family, about their work, about their business as a whole?
Yeah. Yeah, I think, that's a big part of it, to go back to even what we were talking about earlier, building trust or developing a chemistry. That is certainly, I think, one way to win the game and win the deals,
Yeah,
no question
absolutely.
about it.
Mhm.
So, let's talk a little bit about, preparation. What steps can our listeners take, specifically to ensure that their prospecting process runs smoothly or effectively? Any thoughts on that?
No, no, and I think it goes back to the time blocking and being persistent. And what I did as a whole, I kept a spreadsheet about how many times I've reached out to somebody, and if it's every, especially on the initial reach out, it might be a email followed up by a phone call very quickly, and then you take that 2 weeks to kind of let them cool off and follow back up, um, and it's about being persistent for that 6, 7, 8 weeks, whatever it might be, and then taking a break and then coming back. But as you think about how you're prospecting, taking the time. But if it's every 2 weeks you're reaching out to that initial person to try to set up that appointment, make it every 2 weeks until they might reach back out or tell you to stop reaching out to them. So I think it's about being persistent in your efforts.
I have to say, I think that's a great bottom line is,
Mhm.
preparation and consistent. But I want to give you the opportunity. Any bottom line that you'd like to share with us other than what you've already shared
Ooh,
to our audience?
you know, you
No.
get knocked down,
Okay.
keep on getting back up. I mean, I think that's the biggest thing in prospecting.
Keep on getting back up.
Keep
Yeah.
on getting back up and keep on going after it because I think building those relationships should be your biggest goal. You want to go out there and understand. that particular person's background, how they're doing business, take care and how they're doing things. That's kind of the bottom line for me is being
I
persistent,
love that bottom line. Just keep getting back up. That is
keep getting back up and going after
excellent,
it.
excellent. Well, Kale, this was really fun to have this conversation with you. It's always good to talk to you. So, thank you very much for spending some time with me today. And to our audience, thank you all for joining us. And until we meet again, let's all continue to learn, grow, and prosper. And some of you may want to root for the Dallas Cowboys, and others may want to root for the New England Patriots. So, we'll leave that to our audience to decide.
Absolutely.
All right,
Hard,
Kale.
hard choices there. Hey, thank you so much. Thanks everybody. I appreciate you, Ann.
Great.
Great the week.
All right. Thanks. Have a good one.